This is an Icon Ministry production with the support of our ministry partners and donors.
A few months ago, I got to interview or be interviewed or have a discussion with Bryce Crawford. Now, Bryce Crawford is one of the most influential Christians in the world. Like 4 million followers on TikTok, 2.5 million on Instagram. So many young people follow Bryce Crawford. Now, he's a Protestant, but a man after God's own heart. But one of the questions that he asked me was about baptism. And it got me kind of confused because I had never really thought of this aspect before. He asked me, in other words, is baptism necessary for salvation? Do we need baptism in order to go to heaven? Now, of course, as Catholics, we clearly state and believe that baptism is salvific. In other words, that we need baptism to go into heaven. Well, their debate is, well, if you're saying that baptism is necessary for salvation, then it's your effort, your work that is getting you to heaven, not God's initiative. Which does make sense, right? It is Jesus who saves us. But here's the thing, and this is so important for us to understand, that going to heaven is won for us by God. Yes, Jesus is the only one who can get you to heaven. There's nothing you can do to earn heaven. But also, we need to respond to the grace that God gives us. And part of that is obedience to His commands, from commandments, from obeying the Sermon on the Mount, the Beatitudes, all of that. But one of the commandments that Jesus gives post-resurrection. Now, the other commandments He gave before His resurrection, but after His resurrection, He gives this command that we are to be baptized, that we need to be born again of water in order to enter into heaven, that we need to be baptized. And so why is it necessary? Why is it salvific? Simply because Jesus tells us to do it. It is obedience. Now, yes, God's grace does work in our life, but He asks us to die to self, to be buried into water, baptizein, and to rise up in His grace. And He asks us to do this through an action, and that is baptism. So, is baptism necessary for salvation? Simply because Jesus commanded us clearly, explicitly? Yes, it is. Now, if you're not baptized, do you not get to heaven? I don't know. All I know is that Jesus asks us to do it. And He asked me to do it. And He asked you to do it. And so I don't want to take any risk. I want to do it out of obedience, out of love for Him. I will say yes, yes. And I'm praying for you, especially those who have been thinking, maybe you're even listening here, and you're thinking about baptism. Well, I invite you to say yes. I invite you to respond to the Lord. Join an OCIA, RCIA in your parish. Go and search. See what the Lord is saying and respond to His love. He wants you to get to heaven. He wants you saved. So let's obey. Let's say yes to baptism.
This production is only made possible because of the generous support of Icon Ministry partners and donors. Please go to iconministry.com/support to make a donation.